Hey, how you guys doing?
Doing all right, Jay. How about yourself?
Pretty good, pretty good.
Okay.
Yeah, yes, I would like to make this, quite kind of simple. Simply put, God is life,
All right.
and He created everything. Life created everything, and that's it. Bottom line,
Okay. I mean,
God is life.
all right.
God
I
is
appreciate that. How do you know?
How do I know that God is life?
Yeah.
Yes.
And also,
it's a very bold, very strong, passionate statement that you're making. I very much appreciate that you're making it. But, why should I believe you?
I would like to know, too, as long as I want you to know how to know that, and also what does it mean when you say God is life? Because I'm not entirely sure what that means.
Okay, well, life is like everything you see.
Okay.
And a box of
basically,
chocolates.
It's more of that comes from life. Yes, that's from life. Everything you see is from life.
Okay. So
Yes,
everything is made from God. So viruses, cancer in children, war, that's all from God, too?
yes, it's from God.
Okay.
Okay.
So all good things, good and bad. That is all God.
Everything is from God.
Okay. All right.
All right.
Good and evil.
Okay.
Okay.
And now let's go back to Christy's question, which was, how do you know that?
His voice, He tells us.
Okay. And when you say his voice, are you talking about, his word in the scriptural Bible? Are you talking about the
Yes.
personal revelations that he gives to you? How do you hear God's voice?
Yes, from His word in the Bible.
Okay. So reading the Bible
from
is how you learned that God is life and God created everything.
Yes. Yes.
Why should we believe the Bible is true?
I mean, well, it's telling us it's telling us the truth.
Yeah, but I'm telling you that I'm telling you the truth, and I'm saying the Bible is not true.
Yeah, I mean,
so
the Quran
checkmate,
says it's
God.
telling us the truth. The Book of Mormon says it's telling the truth. There's a lot of books that say they're telling the truth, right? But I think you
the
probably
Blair
agree
Witch
that-
Project said that it was true.
Yeah. So how do we know that this book in particular is telling the truth?
Well, it tells us what the truth is. We got to know what the truth is, and it's telling us, it's defining the truth. It tells us.
Wait, you got to know what the truth is, but you got to get the truth from the Bible, and you know that the Bible is true because the Bible says that it's true, and you know what truth is because you were told to get it from the Bible. Do I have it right?
From His voice. Okay, from the voice of God comes the truth.
Okay. So I think Christy was trying to illustrate a problem here, which is if we have a book that's telling us what the truth is, and we don't know what the truth is without having the book itself tell us what the truth is, we have what's called a circular argument, right? We're kind of defending our claim with the claim itself. So we need to know, how could we validate this outside of the Bible? In other words, how do we know that what the words in the Bible are saying are true without using the Bible as a reference?
Well, you got to have the Bible first. I mean, you got to know what the truth is.
Yeah, but even if we take the Bible, I mean, we mentioned it at the top of the show. The Bible says in different places different numbers.
Yeah.
So what is true?
Yeah.
How many soldiers fought with David?
Well, look, you say that we have to get we have to start with the Bible, is what you're saying, because we have to start with truth. But why do we have to start there? I mean, are there other ways that we can know truth?
You're looking for, you want another way.
Yeah, well, look
Some way to at least confirm the Bible.
Here's the thing, Jay. I think you know that the Bible hasn't always existed in history, right? There was a time where people didn't have the Bible. Did people know what truth was?
A few did.
A few did. So there are other ways
Yes.
outside of the Bible to know the truth, right? To know what truth is.
Yes.
Okay.
Common sense.
Okay, common sense. So let's say that that's a way to know the truth is through common sense. All right, that seems like a more
Yes.
basic thing than the Bible, right? I'd say more people in this world, if common sense was a thing, would have access to common sense than the Bible, perhaps, right?
Repeat that. Yes.
Well, yeah. So again, a lot of people haven't actually read the Bible, right? Like I don't know what percentage of people have read it, but there's a lot of people that haven't actually read the Bible, but maybe they have common sense. I think it's maybe common sense will be more common than the Bible, right?
Common sense is inherited
Sure.
in everyone.
Okay.
I mean,
So
it's inherited.
So
Yes.
if we all have it, then we
why
all
do
have
we need the
truth.
Bible?
Yeah.
What?
Well, if we all have common sense, which, by the way, I don't agree with that.
Yes.
I think common sense is kind of a misnomer. I'm not sure it actually exists. But let's say it does exist in this worldview. If we all have common sense and it tells us what true things are, why do we need the Bible?
The Bible is like for details about the past, because we haven't lived we don't live in the past.
Sure.
I mean, the Bible tells us about the past, and it tells us about the present, and it tells us about the future. So the Bible tells us everything we need to know.
Okay. But you also said it tells us about the concept of truth. You said that we can't know truth without the Bible, right? And what I'm pointing out is, well, if we have this common sense, going back to this common sense notion, it seems we can tell what the truth is without the Bible. Like, it seems like maybe the Bible
Yes.
records some true things, right? But we don't have to know what
Yes.
truth is outside of the Bible. We don't have to use the Bible to know what truth is, right? Is kind of my greater point.
We don't necessarily need the Bible to know that there is a God, because common sense is telling us that there is a God.
Okay, so there's another claim I might disagree with you with. Why would common sense tell us that there's a God?
Why would common sense tell us there is a God?
Yeah, I mean,
Because God, because He wants us to know Him. He wants us to know that He exists.
He must not care if Dan and I know that he exists, or any of the
Right.
good people in this building.
we're-
Like,
live studio audience, most of which, if not all, don't believe in God. So, do we? There we go. So, are we not using common sense, or
Yeah, right.
what is it about us? Okay, so we're not using common sense. What about your common sense leads you to the conclusion that God exists?
I mean, when you look around and you see the existence of things,
Yes.
man, I had consider the trees on my bingo
I was gonna
card.
say,
Damn it.
consider-
You know it-
Sorry, let him finish. Go ahead.
it came from somewhere.
Okay. Yeah, Christy right here. He came from his mom, who's in the audience right now. The God's not necessary for that. Where does God fit in?
God created parents.
God created parents? I think Christy's mom came from another mom. And I think that
It's moms all the way down.
Moms all the way down. And then maybe like all the way to like single cell organisms or something.
Yeah.
I'm not an expert on that. You have to ask Forrest Valkai. But the point is, you know, if we're talking about life, there are alternative explanations as to where life may have come from. We don't have all the details, but we do have some ideas. For other objects in the universe, we have chemistry, we have physics, we have other processes that can give us the things that we see. But all of those things have something in common, which is that they are material, right? They don't necessarily require a God to exist. I mean, I have to know, why does it have to be a God? Why can't it be anything else or nothing at all? Why a God?
Because without God, it wouldn't be able to come. It wouldn't be able to exist.
Is that true?
I mean, yeah, Jay, it seems like you've
life-
come to this notion
God is
that you
life
can't
produces
understand
things.
how the world could exist without some all-powerful force putting it into the universe. So I guess I would just ask you to really consider, could it possibly be anything else at all? You know, it feels like there's this question of, I don't know how the universe came to be, and I guess carry the one, therefore God. And there might be some other conclusions that you could draw here. It's like you recognize that the universe exists, and you don't know why, and so therefore you just have to kind of pencil God's name in there. And I would challenge you to really think about, why is there that assumption? And you know, not for nothing, but would you have that same understanding if you had been born in Japan? You know, would you have the same notion of common sense and God if you hadn't been born surrounded by people who treated God as if it was this obvious thing that we all took for granted?
There are Christians, believers in Japan.
There are indeed, yes.
But they are the minority. They represent less
Do
than
they have
3%
less common sense there?
As far as my understanding, Christians in Japan represent less than 3 to 5% of the population.
Is there something inherent to that experience that lacks in common sense?
If anything, the Japanese people would say, no, the common sense, I mean, if you look at ancient Japan, not necessarily modern Japan, but they'd say, no, common sense says Shintoism makes the most sense. We have our ancestors, and you know,
I mean, at least they were real.
Access to them. Yeah, I mean, like, you know, this idea of God being what's common sense, I don't think matches up with the rest of the world.
Well, anything, God is life, and anything outside of life is you might as well call it death, non-life.
Okay, sure.
So nothing can come from death or non-life.
I don't even know what that means.
I have no concept of what that means at all, Jay. As far as I know, there are no living things anywhere close to the planet Saturn, and yet the planet Saturn exists. And I don't know if that came from God, because God is life and God is all things. I'm going to just say, Jay, I really appreciate the conversation, but this circular argument has spun around enough times to make me kind of dizzy. And I would really ask you to go back, watch this back, get out a pen and paper, like write things down that you have said, and then question yourself if they actually make sense in that order.